All right, the journey to 2200 continues. If y'all hear some static in the background, it's because I have a newborn baby, and that's the baby monitor. So it's not newborn; he's 2 months old. But if the wife's going to sleep already, so if I have to run, I have to run. You know. So rated games are a little fast, so let's just create one. Um, I want to play standard, and I want to play 5-3. If somebody can meet me on those terms, we'll have a game. All right. I guess the English. I used to play symmetrical. Um, I've been playing e5 lately. Just trying for classical setups. Four knights. Bishop to c5 usually. And d6. I can't do that in this instance, so let's just play right up the middle. Assuming he takes back with the pawn. Okay. And I gotta think this is just a equal game. Um, very unambitious as white. Let's see. So he's threatening to take and double my pawns, but I'm not really worried about that. Part of me wants to play queen e7 here. That might be the move, because if queen e7, let's check first. If he blocks with the bishop, I take. If not, I'll play queen e7. The idea is to force. If he plays queen e2, I'll just take on d4. And we can do that now. If he plays queen e2, I'll take on d4. If f4, probably play knight to e4. Double attack this knight. I think the best move here might be bishop f4. Okay, so he's allowing takes. He's allowing it because of the queen check here. So if take, 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 don't I just win a pawn? Am I missing something? I don't think so. Let's see if I win a pawn. I might have miscalculated. Okay, now gotta be careful because bishop moves and rook over. So how about just this? Yeah, he has no threats after that. I think I just have a piece. Take, and what? There's some tricks with bishop f3 that I'm seeing. So like takes bishop f3, but then I can just play queen d7 and then move whenever the rook comes down. Mm, yeah, I got to be really careful here because of pawn push. Um, for example, knight takes. Trying to play this out in my head. I can't guard at e6 afterward because of pawn push, pawn push. So I think I'm just going to take and then play queen here. And then just move if rook over. Okay, he's playing a totally different way, which is, I'm sure, fine. Now, hopefully, he just plays bishop f3 here and lets me castle, and I'll accept the double pawns for the piece, of course. But what if this? If that, I feel like I can just play here. Hurry up and castle and then worry about... Yeah. All right. I don't think he can make any quick threats. No. I think I'm okay. A4 here would make things interesting because of the bishop A3 idea. A4, I might play A5 in order to play knight to B4. Block the bishop that way. I will do that. If he plays A4, I'll play A5. Put the knight on B4. Okay. I guess I better get out of the rook's way. Probably just this, right? And I'm hitting this pawn. If, for example... Okay. No threats that I see. Kind of don't want to go here, though. Just because of the bishop. I feel like I could just go here. Yeah, let's do it. If pawn push, I think I'm just going to take the pawn. Take this pawn. Except the double pawns. Excuse me. Except the double pawns here. Now if he plays rook over, obviously I just move right back. I think I'm okay here. Knight coming here. I take first. And it's fine. Do I want to play there? If I do that, he plays bishop f3, and then what? Bishop f3 is coming, so I have to move the knight because of the discovered attack here. Do I want to just give up that pawn? I'm up a piece and two pawns. Yeah, I can. We'll do that. Bishop f3, and I'll play... I don't know what I want to play. Probably here. It looks dangerous because of the rooks, but he's going to need two moves to get over, and I don't think he can make a threat first. He might surprise me and play something else. Something like this would be interesting. Okay, we'll just do this. Take, take, and then here. This isn't a threat because this square is guarded. So I have time to do something else. In fact, oh, I blundered. Yeah, because just rook takes. Hmm. Okay, I'll do this. And now I should be able to take. If he'd have taken with the rook, he'd have won my queen. There was a blunder. It's a good move. Good move here. If I could just get him away from this square. How am I going to do that? He's threatening to come here, which would be funny. Let's just get out of the way. Why not? Now if he tries to check. Hmm. So if I come here, I gotta move. Let's move. Let's get going. There don't appear to be any checks. Oh, no, because then I'll just take rook. Okay. Get nervous in these kind of positions. I also have this as an outlet. And check on the king in case of emergency. Okay. Come here. Bishop takes is fine. I'm threatening this. We'll take that. All right, and he resigned. With the queen off the board, it's a pretty easy win for the extra piece and pawns. All right, let's play another one. Was that a casual? Did I accidentally click casual? Oh, I sure did. Okay, let's play rated. All right. I want to play some of these guys, but they don't have anything to gain by playing me. I know I have to play some tournaments to be able to play against them. Is there no one trying to play? There we go. All right, got a 2300 here. Now, earlier in the day, I beat another 2400. I wasn't streaming when it happened. I could probably bring up that game if need be. Um, let's go bishop e3. He's playing like a hippo opening, which is annoying. Coming from a 2300 that he would do that. I think I want to play knight f3 and just develop. Bishop to d3. All right. Let's see how I want to continue. I want to get in f4. This is a good move. He realizes that I haven't left my bishop much room to operate. But we can shift the queen over. The only thing is this pawn, after the two pawn pushes, this pawn's hanging, which is fine. Um, if I'm going to give up a pawn to get holes in his camp, it'll I don't mind it being a center pawn because I can launch with the bishops afterward. Question is, do I want to take first? I think I do. So take, take, Queen c2. Assuming he takes with the pawn. Yeah. Queen c2. And now let's see how many holes he wants to create in his position. Right here. I feel like I'm okay with that though. Let's do it. I'm gonna play Queen b3. Pair this. Okay, so he just did that. Now, do I want to take here? I'm thinking no. I really want to play this next. If he pushes, it also leaves this open. So, oof, this feels good for me. Take on passant. Pawn takes. Pawn up. Feels good. Let's see. The idea is opening this diagonal and uncovering attacks. That was expected. Let's play f4. I don't mind giving up this dark squared bishop for the knight from a cramped position. He's got to move. This may be a move at some point. Am I missing a tactic? Hmm. Hmm. What's the threat? Is there a threat? No, not really. Let's move back. I've got to protect this knight, so this rook needs to stay at home. Wow. It's interesting. I think I can just trade here. I don't mind that. So I was in a cramped position, and I got out of it by trading down. And now it looks like I might have a better endgame. 4 pawn islands. I mean, he has to trade, right? Yeah, there's nowhere for him to go. Unless he really comes up with something. Something that I'm missing. Maybe knight here. No, knight there. I just take with bishop. Then my endgame's way better. I think this move was kind of nonsensical. His best chance here is to take. And now, what is he going to do with his knight? And what am I going to do with my knight? This bishop, I talk about this all the time, is covering all these squares that the knight could jump to. If he jumps to any of those squares, I'm taking with the bishop. But part of me wants to take this. I just got to calculate real quick. So if I take this and he plays knight to g4 and I play rook over, I should be fine. Let's do it. Knight g4 and I'm going to play rook here. Oh, did not see that. All right. Damn, that's no good. Oh, I could just take back. Whew. Got lucky on that one because I was not counting on that as a defensive resource. Threatening bishop, and now I can just take. And push. And now his rook is tied to the defense of that pawn. If he plays king up, I'm going to play rook over. I just need to march my king over. That's the... I need to bring my king there. Mm, he's threatening to come down here. There's a finish here. I just need to find it. I might have given him a little more play than I'd like to have. I didn't need to bring my king over. That might have been a mistake, but we're going to play on like it wasn't. I feel like this, if I could trade the rooks off, I have an easy, easy win. Do I play here? No, I need to keep the rook there. I'm thinking this and this, but can I allow him to win this pawn? And then this pawn. We're going to find out. I think that was a mistake. It looked good, but I think it was a mistake because of this. Mm, maybe not. Man, I really bungled this one, huh? Think it's a draw now. Maybe, if I'm lucky. Jeez, I messed this one up. All right, let's just play it this way. It might be a draw. Man, I messed that one up. That was a winning position for me. Wow, I bungled that one. That was an easy win, or it should have been an easy win. Draw against a higher rated player is only a favorable result when you don't have a winning position right in the middle of it. I really wanted that win. I should have went back and saw where I messed up, really. All right, head back in the game. Let's play one more. Open Rui. Now, there's a line here that I like to play that grandmasters don't play, which is knight to d3. I find the dark squared bishop is more troublesome for me than the light squared bishop. So if he plays queen to e2, I just take the bishop. And if not, I just take this pawn down here. I can only think of one time that I had trouble because of a major piece and then the pawn push. Um, I don't think with most accurate play that it's a problem. Mostly because of this helping out. So I can play queen f6 here as part of the solution. And this is coming. All right. Could also play this or this. I got to think what's he threatening here. Well, the threat, like say I play c5, the threat would be f4, and I can't take because of the bishop protecting. If I move the knight, f5, and I can't take because the bishop's pinned to the king, and the bishop attacks f5 here. So perhaps the best move is a simple bishop to e7. And I think that takes all the worry out of the pin situation, and I'm just up a pawn. Now this is a move. If he plays that, I have to think about what I'm preventing from there. With this, I can just castle. And now I've take. And now I can play rook takes. I'm going to play c5 next if he doesn't do anything. If he plays bishop d2 or something, I'll play c5. Okay, that's the move I was kind of waiting on. Let's block the queen's entry. He might play f4 here. If he plays f4, I have to move the this bishop. There's also the possibility he plays this right here. Yeah, that might, yeah, that wins the pawn back, doesn't it? That's okay though. Here we can play this. Yeah, this is tricky. He might choose to win the pawn back this way, and if he does, well, if he captures here, I can capture. So the idea here is if he takes the bishop, I take with the pawn, and then queen, rook, and bishop are all hitting f7. Oh, f2, excuse me. So if queen takes back with check, yep, you get to see it. If queen takes back with check, I take, and then this square is dead. If b3, I just play bishop takes. And another beautiful thing about this knight here is that he can't play bishop e3 because knight just takes, and then I'm up the clean pawn. Really clean pawn. Okay. I wonder if I should push b4. That's the current question. Everything is safe for now. There's no quick attack or anything. Kind of want to play this as well because the rook can't really infiltrate. Like say trades, say takes. Sorry, say takes. After I move, let's do the whole thing. If I move here, takes. Now the rook can't come here, can't come here because of the pawn. It can't come here because of the knight. It can't come here, but it can come here. But then I can just play bishop back. So this feels like a good move. Guarding this square, letting the queen loose. And now if, for example, b3, I was just about to say queen can take here, but he can't because of this. Or actually, can, because the knight's guarding the queen if it takes on b2. So here, of course, I'm threatening. Simple queen takes a1. And this was made possible by rook to e8. There may be some tricks. It seems like there always are tricks. Because I am, say he plays rook to a2, I am going to have to move this knight. And then he can play bishop to b2. But one good thing about this knight is if it moves back here, sorry, it guards this square. So it takes, and I keep the pawn. I don't see any way for him to. He's looking for a way to trap my queen right now, but he can't play bishop because of the knight. All right, so he's decided to give up the rook. Let's make sure this is sound. Pretty sure it is. He can't play here to attack the bishop because I can just take back. He can play bishop b2, but then I just play queen a2, and I think I'm okay. Bishop here, I play queen a3. And there's no other attack. Alright, I'm taking. If he proves me wrong, he proves me wrong. Let's see. Okay, bishop a2, queen a2. If takes, I take. And I'm going to play here. Try and get out of it. I'm up 4 pawns worth of material. Let's take. And then I want to play here. Well, maybe not. Let's see. Now, if you're wondering why I'm not taking this bishop, it's because he then moves the bishop with check. Wow. That is an interesting way to go about this. All right. Now, there are actually threats here. With this, the conditions have to be right. I have 2 minutes. He's down to 20 seconds. This is a good thing for me. All right, I'll just take the queen. Um, you don't expect a 2000 to make that move even in time pressure, but I think I think I was winning beforehand just because of the material advantage. We're gonna go back and look at it. So let's see. How do I oh, I wanted to play analysis board. How do I go back to my last match? Is that possible? Agabator has his own tournament now. It's amazing. I want to do that. How do I go back to? Do I click my name? Yeah, there we go. Okay, analysis board. I could go back and show the win against the 2400 too. So queen takes a1 with sound. They're giving king h1 as the best move, probably just to get it off of this diagonal. So yeah, that's what did I miss here? Kill shot. Wow. Okay, because of the pin. Incredible. I don't even think I would have found that in a classical game. But queen a2 kept an advantage. So before he blundered his queen here, they'd given bishop to d1. In which case I'd have probably just played that, showing a healthy advantage. Okay, let's see if I can find before I log off, let's see if I can find the game against the 2400. Here it is. So I was black. I have not yet analyzed this game. I don't know if I made good moves. Um, Obviously, I made decent moves to beat a 2400, but I played a semi-Slav, um, bishop f4, bishop b7. I played the Moran style with takes on c4 and b5, hitting on this pawn, so I played up, play up, and c5. And here, I've always felt black, um, both in this position and when this bishop's on g5. I've always felt that black's better. Um, not just equal, but better, because this bishop rakes. Um, White's pieces are close together but uncoordinated, if that makes sense. They don't have a clear path forward. Um, After e5 and knight here, any path to h7 here goes through g5, and the queen and bishop team up on g5. I really don't see much for. I mean, it's not that it's not a losing position for white, obviously, but I don't see any clear plan that would have any kind of opening move advantage going through. And black actually does have a clear plan, because black can create a queenside pawn majority. He can support it with a piece firmly entrenched in the middle, and that's exactly what happens in this game. And you'll see. So e5, I play knight d5. Now here, a lot of people even play this to come here, and I don't mind trading this bishop off, especially if I have time to get in h6, and in some lines even f6. F6 usually isn't good because this pawn is hard to defend in this variation. Um, Usually this is the only defense of that pawn, but there are some lines where f6 ends up getting played. So here, if takes, I usually play bishop takes and then back. And then I've got bishops raking at the king. You can also play knight takes and harass the bishop here. It's fine, I'm sure. But I also take with the bishop here to keep the option open of rook over and knight to f8, just in case uh, the opponent starts to bear down on h7. And here I accept the queenside pawn majority, which I almost always do. Knight to b6 in order to keep that piece entrenched on d5 here. Whether it's a bishop or a knight, you get good defense of your queenside. You get good support for your queenside pawns. Now here, there's nothing. He can attack g7, because in order to attack g7, the knight would have to be here. And as you can see, it's 2 squares away diagonally. It doesn't get there easily. In order to attack h7, you would need the knight to come here. And again, this bishop is covering that square. So there's really no way for white to get at the king here. And my pieces are supporting the queen side here. So whenever Stockfish gives a 2.6 advantage, a 2.6 pawn advantage, even though it's material equality, it's easy to see why. White doesn't have any way to play for advantage here, and black has all the initiative on the queen side. Knight h2 is apparently a blunder, because after knight takes f4 and queen takes f4, bishop here wins the exchange from an already better position. But I didn't play that. I was concentrated on the queen side initiative and gave away all my advantage against the 2400. Now here is usually where the tide would turn, and the 2400 would start to wear me down. But he played queen f3. Of course, like I said, I want to keep d5. I want to keep the pawn on d4 weak by keeping a piece on d5. Because the absolute best thing he could hope for is that I leave d5 unoccupied and he's able to push it and get rid of that backward pawn. So he decides to keep queens on the board, and I start to push my queenside pawn majority. He's creating counterplay on the king side, but again, there's really no real way to get at my king here. So of course I do an idiotic thing and open a hole. And Stockfish doesn't punish me too much for it, but you can see it goes from 2.9 pawns to 1.8 pawns. I still have an advantage, but this was not good to do. But after g4, I noticed that he's going for an f5 break, and I don't have to take. I can just leave it right where it is, and if he plays f6, this is fine. He doesn't have a dark squared bishop to punish me for opening up the dark squares. So a4, I continue my push, and my plan is to play a3 and get a passed pawn on the c file and use that passed pawn to win. Rook f1, he's anticipating an f-pawn push, and again, I've calculated that I can allow it and just not take, and just let him take and leave my bishop right here. I play my a3 that I was looking for. Again, a3 is supported by this bishop, so after takes, I now have a passed pawn on the c file and an open b file that my rooks can work on. Rook c2. I think rook to c1 was probably better. I mean, c3, excuse me. Rook to b8. Now this queen is guarding this pawn, so I'm starting to take advantage of the b file. I'm looking to come here. And he plays rook down in anticipation of that. So I take that opportunity to double my rooks. And now I'm going to bring it there anyway. Now here I made an unnecessary move, which is guarding the c4 pawn. It actually loses the tempo because he can play queen g3 here. But it's not that bad. But it was totally unnecessary because I can just play here. Rook can't take because the king's away from this rook. So if, for example, he would elect to take here, I could take. And now if he takes back, I take here with check. And I win the rook. So going forward, I play this move anyway. He takes, take back, and like I said, it's totally fine. There's no real way to get at my king from here. He pushes because he has to make a move. He has to do something. King to g3 was best, and pushing here is just bad because of this. And now he can't protect the rook. He has to move the queen away or take, and then I take the rook, and it's a free rook. If he takes here, takes, the knight's undefended. So I mean, this is just losing. And like I said, this guy was 2400 when we played. It's my second 2400 scalp in a couple days. Might have to start a little collection, and really appreciate you guys tuning in. I'm gonna get offline. It looks like my son's stirring a little bit, so thanks for joining.